UFP, the United Federation of Podcasts.
Infinite diversity.
Live long and prosper, and welcome to Infinite Diversity, a Star Trek Universe podcast here on the United Federation of Podcast Network. I'm your host for today, Chrissie, and joining me is my co-host, Thad. Brandon is not answering his comm badge for some reason. We're really hoping that he's not stuck in some kind of immigration situation, coming over from Canada or something. So, Thad, how are you today?
I'm pretty good, just trying to get a cellular photograph.
Yeah, the cellular photographs can be kind of tough to get. Especially when we break them down into cells. When she said that, I totally didn't think about cellular phone. I was thinking about cellular, like, as in made of cells, and it... Which I guess just goes to show you.
That's because you're not as much fun as Kevin.
I'm not as much. I will admit that completely. Completely. All right. All right, well, before we jump into our topic for the day, which you may have guessed is this week's episode of Picard, we'd like to take a moment to thank our Patreon patrons who make this show possible, particularly our associate producers, Justin Oser and David Willett. Listeners, we would love to add your name to this list, and we can do that with your monthly subscription of just $10 at patreon.com/UFPEarth. All right, so we are into episode 3.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This story is picking up like, it hit the ground running, and we're going to keep running until we slam into a wall, I think. But kind of a weird metaphor, but whatever.
We're going to slam face first into the sidewalk.
Yeah. I'll come back to that. All right, so we pick up right where we left off in the episode with this standoff that just... kind of completely disappears because, it's okay to we're just going to vaporize all the baddies. It's fine.
Well,
There's no
except
setting.
For the part where they shoot Elnor.
They do, and so I'm like, must have been a different type of weapon, I guess?
Or a different setting, yeah.
Different setting, yeah. Yeah, I did appreciate the moment of the first husband being like, what's my full name?
Yes.
She's like, yeah, no, we're done.
Mr. Annika.
Yeah. So then that's pretty quick, and then it's like, okay, we got to get out of here because they're shooting at us, and then we have Q just kind of pop in and lean in and go, "This is the only life you understand, isn't it?" And then Picard turns around, and that's that. And we don't see Q again for the rest of the episode, as far as we know. For all we know, he was that guy that tried to mug Raffi, but
Q could be anybody.
He could be. So
Q was the fire escape that Rios almost landed on.
Oh, God. Oh, poor Rios. Oh, we'll get to him. All right. Plug in the Borg Queen, and she completely takes over the ship and gets us to 2024.
I was a little disappointed we didn't get any giant white heads.
That sequence did... I think reflect on what we saw in Voyage Home.
A little bit, yes, but I wanted the giant heads. There was a little bit of it,
but yeah. I hadn't thought of particularly the giant heads, but it would have been nice if we had gotten some, just one-line clues into the rest of the season. That would have been really cool.
That would have been cool.
Things for them to think of in the future. Whatever. Next time there's...
Or the past.
Time travel story like this. Yeah, or the past. There we go. Yeah, so we get our slingshot around the sun, and Elnor is shot and bleeding to death, and Raffi is trying to help him, and Seven is trying to help him, but then she's got to go help Pilot, and then he dies.
Because they run out of power after they go back in time, because the Borg Queen is siphoning it all out of the ship.
Right. And we can't just shoot her, which I get why we can't just shoot her. But, yeah. We were talking about this in our group. How are you feeling about the fact that Elnor is currently dead?
I don't like it. That's like that's my one big complaint about this episode is that they literally fridged Elnor.
Yeah.
I mean, they actually stuck him in the fridge. I mean, yeah. He's there to provide for dramatic effect and to be an impetus for Rafi to act. And that's it. And I don't like it.
No, and it doesn't... It's unnecessary because Rafi doesn't need that motivation.
No, she doesn't.
It almost feels like, oh, well, we don't want to put ourselves in a position where we have to make jokes about Elnor's ears and... What is it? A mechanical rice picking like that,
accident? Yes,
or tie a band around his head or something like that. So we're just gonna kill him.
There's so many things they could do.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense at all. So I'm hoping there's going to be something more to this, but I don't see how there could be.
Well, with time travel, I mean, depending on how the time travel works this week, this could still result in him surviving.
Yeah, I don't expect him to stay dead.
No.
That's kind of a funny statement to make, but yeah, it just feels like this is really unnecessary. There is the element of if he had been where Rios was, then they would have had a much bigger problem.
Yes.
But the answer to that is you stay on the ship. Mm-hmm. Very simple. So... there's ways around it. I would be interested to know. And I don't make a habit of watching The Ready Room, and I really should.
I haven't watched it in a while.
Yeah, I would be interested to know some of the thought process behind this, but I think we'll get that toward the end. I think we'll get that like on Blu-ray specials and stuff like that.
But also, I didn't watch it, but I imagine The Ready Room was probably more about Discovery this week than it would have been about Picard.
Oh, true. Absolutely, yeah. Anyway, so yeah, the motivation there. Maybe it'll turn out that it was not just a way to have him not be in the way.
I feel like that's probably what it was. They didn't really want to have write the character in the past, I think is what it really was. But there could have been so many interesting interactions. He could have finally met a freaking cat. Oh
my god, yes.
But yeah.
Yeah.
And I really like Elnor. He's a great character, which is why I'm annoyed at his demise. But it happens.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of maybe is I don't know what the actor's working on. So maybe that worked out well for the actor.
Yeah, maybe.
In which case I'm a little more okay with it, but they still could have done it differently. But I don't know. So, yeah, but it does give Raffi that extra layer of reasoning to do things. And it allows her to have that wonderful moment where she is telling Picard, I am feeling something to the effect of a deep and abiding disappointment in leadership.
Yes.
Which is beautiful. And all I could think of was like, I think he has had that feeling, but there's not time to bring it up.
I mean, I realize that Raffi is very upset and emotionally compromised, but the fact that she's blaming Picard for what Q is doing is like, Picard has no control over what Q wants to do.
No. And she presents it as if he is encouraging Q.
Yeah.
Which I think we can definitely say is not the case.
No.
Right, so, and we know because of how Q says, the last time we talked, I said the trial never ends, and so Q's left him alone for 25 odd years. I mean, he went and bothered Voyager, okay, and apparently he was raising his son, maybe, and then he reappears now, and so there is it. We know something's wrong with him, I think, but that's one of the wonderful mysteries of this season that I'm really looking forward to finding out what changed. Why did he set his plaything aside? That being Q, and why, what has happened to bring that back. But yeah, for her to blame him, but she's just lashing out.
Yeah.
Oh, she is, yeah. And I think Picard knows that. And, they all know that, so they're not gonna, go off on her about it. What bothers me is we still have not had Seven say anything about Q. Like, at least oh, I dealt with him once. That would have been a good spot for her to kind of pop in and go, I see what you're saying, but Picard's not the only one.
Were there any scenes? Because it would have been just that one episode.
Right.
Were there?
And I need to go back and rewatch that.
Yeah. That's the one I don't remember much because I don't like it very much, so I haven't watched it very often. I can picture every scene in Death Wish or Q in the Gray,
yeah.
But those were before Seven joined the show.
Q2,
no, I can't. That's why I'm wondering, were there any scenes that she had opposite Q?
I don't remember if she had any opposite the elder Q.
Right.
We already talked about how the younger Q was trying to embarrass her with the nudity, but but she knows what the concept is.
Right, yeah.
And I guess I mean, if she knows everything the Borg knew, she knows at least about the first 3 times Picard ran into Q. So I don't know. This is a glaring omission that I feel like either they're going to completely ignore it, or there's going to be a reason for it. Like, at some point she's going to say, well, I have this information. But I don't know. It's still bugging me.
Yeah, I suspect they probably won't mention it at all.
Yeah. I got to watch that episode. Right. So then the plan is that Rafi, well, it's not the plan. Rafi decides that she's going to go to this, which tower is it? The highest point in LA.
Yeah, it's not a real place. They made it up for this episode. I figured,
because I feel like if they hadn't made it up, then there would have been a lot of Star Trek fans bothering the people that work there. It's just me. Not that we are not well-meaning as Trek fans, but we do that type of thing. So she plans to go to this tower, and of course Picard's like, we probably shouldn't let her go alone. So then Seven's going to go with her, and she's not happy with Seven because, again, we're bothered by the fact that an alternate Seven in a universe where Rafi wasn't there was married to a guy that none of them knew. Okay, fine. So she goes, and then Rios is going to go too, just to be helpful. The transporter thing bothered me. Because they go through the whole thing of the transporter is only going to be, it's not quite effective. How does she put it? Something like that. And then it isn't. But then right before they leave, they get comm badges from Jurati. Oh, she can use this to beam us back. You just said you couldn't do that.
And if she can use them to beam them back, why can't she use them to communicate with them? I don't really understand how that works.
Yeah, so that...
I understand the concept of not being able to communicate from one side of the planet to the other without relays. Absolutely. That makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah.
But I don't understand how, if that's true, how can she beam them there at all?
Yeah. And if she can pick them up with the comm badge to beam them back, she should be able to pinpoint beam them so that they aren't half on a fire escape.
Yes, and if she can pick them up with the comm badge, she should be able to talk to them as well. A voice communication surely is less bandwidth than a transporter.
One would think. I guess we should be happy that Rios didn't materialize into the fire escape.
Jeez. Like that episode of TNG where the people get stuck in the floor. Yeah. We didn't need 2 deaths in this episode, so yes.
Well, so Rios and Raffi and Seven are all beamed into random parts of LA. I loved the thing with the little girl in Seven.
Can you keep my secret? Yeah, that was great.
That was perfect. That was just beautiful. Yes.
I like how Raffi was beamed in at the one time that there was no traffic on that street in LA.
Very lucky.
Yeah.
She is right there. But, that's all right. We'll allow it, as all the other things that we've been talking about. I think we definitely saw a sanctuary district there, or at least
where Raffi
part
was,
of one.
Where she got mugged was in the sanctuary district. Well, where there was the attempted mugging.
Where she mugged, actually.
Yeah.
The mugger.
Like, that mugger had a lot of money for, someone who needs to mug someone.
I just assumed that was the last wallet he picked up.
That's also possible.
But yeah, I mean, if you probably also only operating in cash.
Yeah.
So,
How far does that get you in 2024? I mean, it wouldn't get you very far even today in 2022.
What, just working in cash?
Yeah.
A lot of people do it.
Like, there's a lot of places that won't take cash now. But yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it started with the pandemic. Some places just don't take cash anymore.
Okay. I have not run into that where I'm at, but I'm in a bit of suburbia, so...
I mean, it's not... I mean, plenty of places still do, but there are places that don't, and there are places that will only take exact change, too.
Yeah, so I think that is definitely a sanctuary district. I didn't see any signs that said as much.
There was, yeah. There was a yellow sign that labeled it as a sanctuary district.
Okay. So that's...
Which means we're getting Avery Brooks next week, right?
Oh, God. That would be so... I can't even... People would scream. People would scream. It would just be crazy.
We're not getting Avery Brooks next week.
No, we're not. I can't imagine. I mean, no, I can't imagine we'd be getting Avery Brooks back. But I could see... I think, as I said, we were talking about this earlier in an earlier episode, that we might see footage of him as Gabriel Bell on a TV, in like the background somewhere.
That would be cool.
Like on CNN equivalent, but yeah. So I think that's an important, talking about social commentary. This certainly had its fill between Seven saying about the fires burning, and that was well done.
That was well done, yes.
And the sanctuary district. So,
and I mean the whole INS thing too.
That was beautiful too. Yeah, we'll come back to that. So, Raffi and Seven meet up again. Oh, I did adore we briefly talked about the mugging. I did adore how he's like, "I'm going to hurt you, lady," and then she just knocks him down,
disarms him immediately. Yeah,
does
How does she know how to disable a gun like that? Like,
that's a good
why is
question.
That training that she has?
Yeah, that's a good question. She you know what it is? She took Tom Paris's 20th century history class.
Okay.
At the academy. That's why.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Because,
sure.
Yeah, and then they talk about how you might need to know this if you end up on that planet with the Chicago mobsters. And of course Rios knows about that because he dealt with them.
Sigma Iosha, I think.
Sigma Iosha, yep. Yeah, I know that was a little off kilter, but that's okay.
Yes, Sigma Iosha 2. Which I only remember because of the book from last year, the Picard novel, Rogue Elements.
So good.
I loved it.
So good. So they meet up and they go over to this tower and they get caught trying to go up to the top of the tower, and that was an absolutely fantastic scene.
Yes. You don't want Kevin to be more fun than you, do you? And cellular photograph. We want to capture an image.
Yes, it's just a picture. Actually, the fact that Raffi knows that too, well, maybe she's a 21st century...
That could be.
Into 21st century history.
I like this idea that Tom Paris teaches 21st century history in the academy. I like this idea.
Why not? Yeah. It's an elective, it's a telecourse.
He might even have an entire session set on what happens if you're stuck in 20th century LA, because he has experience with that.
Yeah. This is good. I think this is a comic book. Somebody do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, if they're doing the 32nd century comic books, they could also do the 25th century comic books.
Yeah. I'm just saying that wouldn't work as a novel, but it definitely would work as a comic.
Short trek. It'd be a great short trek.
Oh, yes.
Though I get the feeling we're not getting any more short treks, unfortunately.
All right, well, we'll worry about that. When we get to them, if they happen, we'll be talking about them here on Infinite Diversity.
Well, we would also talk about the comic if, they want to do that too.
Yeah, if they wanted to do that comic. So they get up to the top of the building after convincing not Kevin to be more fun than Kevin. And they get the signal, and then it disappears,
and
then they get the signal.
It was from MacArthur Park, because someone left the cake out in the rain.
Okay, I'm not getting that one. What am I missing?
Okay, everyone I've told this joke to has not gotten it.
I'm sorry.
There's a song from a long time ago, sung by Richard Harris.
Okay.
Called MacArthur Park.
Okay.
And it includes the line, "Someone left the cake out in the rain." And it's about... It's just a weird song that, yeah.
Okay.
You would probably know it if you heard it.
Okay.
But anyway, that's what that joke was. I think I'm funny.
That's fantastic if I had known what you were talking about. That's on me, not you. So, all right. So they get that. They find the that signal that's going back and forth. They also get, for a moment, Rios' signal, because the kid's sitting there playing with the... Mm-hmm. What is that, Morse code? Yeah. But that brings us to Rios. So, what'd you think about this? I guess is this a B plot of Rios in the clinic?
Yeah, it's a B or C. I mean, yeah. I think Agnes and the Borg Queen might be B.
Oh, that's true. We'll get to that in a minute.
It is one of the plots. And I think you can't go to 21st century Los Angeles and not address this.
Yeah. 100%. The same way you can't not address the homeless situation.
Right. So, no, I think it works great. I also think he has a crush on that doctor. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I think as soon as he had his mind was less cussed, he's like, oh, yeah, that's someone I'd like to get to know. Yeah. And the damn butterflies. Yeah. Yeah, I think we might have a little bit of a Gillian Taylor situation. Yes. I'm gonna put a prediction out there on that. So you think she's gonna follow him back? Is that what you're saying? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We'll see. Yeah. So yeah, that was beautifully done. The idea that you have somebody who is of Hispanic descent. Is he supposed to be Portuguese? I thought. I'm not sure. Let me look that up real quick. Memory Alpha just says he's a fluent speaker of the Spanish language. Okay. Right. So it's a really it's a useful little plot point to have the Hispanic person in the group be the one who gets injured like that. And also, because Girardi says you can't, if you go anywhere, they're gonna be able to see all the identity chips. We'll talk at some other point about the idea of that everybody in the Federation has an identity chip, because we've talked about this whole thing of, is the Federation really a security state? They also talk about their vaccine chips, which that sounds... That I love. Yeah, how do I sign up for one of those? Yeah. And does it come with 5G? Oh, obviously. Well, it comes with 15G by then. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's whatever the comm badges run on. There's nothing definitive on where Rios is from, but I'm looking at some discussions on the internet. The actor is Chilean, and one of his holograms speaks... The hologram that only speaks Spanish, I don't remember which one that is, speaks Spanish like a Chilean. Like, he uses Chilean slang, and so he may be... So Rios may be Chilean. But that's Spanish speaking, not that would Portuguese definitely speaking, be Spanish speaking and not Portuguese. Yes. Yeah. I got that idea. Anyway, okay. That's probably for the best, because if he was speaking, like, if he was, like, actually Spanish, and, like, he, like, walked into that clinic and was speaking, like, Castilian Spanish, they'd be like, what? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like a Parisian trying to speak in Quebec. Right. Yeah. So Rios is in the clinic. I enjoyed the clinic scene, the interaction between him and the doctor, and then with the kid. I liked it. It was a good scene. A good interlude. Yeah. I liked when he's trying to get the badge back from the kid, and that was beautiful. The doctor, his mother, comes in and it says, "I think he would have given it to you anyway, and you just got played." I like that. Yeah. The thing where he's eating the cookie, he's like, "Oh my god, real peanut butter," and I love that, because I wanted, like, the kid to ask him, like, what
What
do you mean?
What else have you been eating that isn't peanut butter? What's not real peanut butter? But, I suppose.
I mean, because there are people that do eat like fake peanut butter because peanut butter is so high in calories.
Oh, true.
So that's not like the weirdest thing to say. But also, I always wonder about this. Like, we get so much conflicting stuff like about whether or not replicated food is good.
Yeah, I know. I love that because I feel like it's probably, if you don't know any better, which is, I guess that is what we get, because like when
it's like the equivalent of Olive Garden versus actual Italian food, that sort of thing.
Yeah, except not the same thing, because you're not going to find anywhere. Well, you're not going to find a lot of places in Italy that you can get spaghetti and meatballs that aren't catering to Americans. But
oh, that's true.
That's a whole other issue. Yeah, so I think the kid is probably going to be important in getting the badge back to him, because he's going to, he's already been playing with that and it's sitting there on the desk. So we'll see about that. But so while that's going on, that was the other thing. Did you pick up on the out-of-universe canon connection in the scene with the kid?
I may have, but I don't remember it off the top of my head.
She tells him he has to do his homework or he can't watch Rick and Morty. Yes,
and which is of course is the show that Mike McMahon of Lower Decks fame worked on.
Mm-hmm. So that was just beautiful. That was nicely done. So, right, so they get arrested by ICE in a scene that, for what we might be used to in Star Trek, is, those of us who came up on 90s Trek, is a little bit, I'm not going to say violent, but a little bit on the physical side. Modern Trek has gotten a lot worse with that, but that was pretty physical for 90s Trek. I think not enough for what we know of how that kind of thing works in the real world. But it made the point, so that's all right. I did appreciate how he tried to pull her out of that situation, though, because his idea was perfect, and if the guy had not seen his hand, I think it might have worked.
It might have, yeah.
And while all of this is going on, we have Jurati, who is partially getting assimilated. This has bothered me since they were doing it on Voyager, so What do you think?
I never understood how it worked on Voyager either.
Nope.
The idea in this case is that she's not truly getting assimilated because the Borg Queen isn't, like, awake.
Right.
I mean, it was a creepy scene, but also there was some definite humor in Jurati's various comments. But yeah, it was very creepy. I liked how euphoric can 8% be. That was...
Yeah. I appreciate that we're getting... some almost positives about the collective, about his time as Locutus. I'm not really sure how to characterize it, but for him to say that there was a feeling of euphoria, and to understand it as such, and not to be, he didn't immediately then go, but it was the Borg, so he wasn't trying to qualify it. It just was. And I thought that was very interesting.
And the one thing that honestly has bugged me since Best of Both Worlds, where he talks about, and you lose all sense of individuality, says the person who had a name as a Borg.
Well, yeah, but I think we established already that is he was unique in that, right? I mean, at least they established then that he was unique.
Right.
Later we find out, but yeah. I think it's the thing that I've been able to hold on to with the whole idea of we're going to partially assimilate, whether it was on Voyager or this, is I'll hang it on one line from Next Gen with Crusher, where it's, just, if it weren't for the connection, it would just be a matter of microsurgery, of taking out the connectors. So at least as far as that, I can reconcile that.
Well, I think the process with Jurati was that there wasn't, like, the Borg nanoprobes weren't going in her or anything. Her mind was just getting connected to the Borg Queen.
Okay.
Like, the partial assimilation in Unimatrix Zero on Voyager was a little less... I mean, because they were full-on complete Borg with implants and everything. So that was a whole other thing, but...
Yeah, I assumed that she was getting some nanoprobes because I didn't know how else that would be.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe.
I got the impression that it was just a mental connection.
Okay. Well, I don't know, how is it that we have to have... Oh, it takes a couple of hours to get fully assimilated. I feel like that's a little weird, too. But, again, we're working with one Borg who's been disconnected, so...
It may take a couple hours to be fully, but, like, what we've seen previously is, like, within minutes, they're already Borg.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. To the point where the collective can tell them to shoot their former compatriots, so... Girardi's very cringe.
As is usual.
But I love what she did, but she's also so incredibly smart. We have another character who is uncomfortable but smart, and I love that.
Mm-hmm. No, I really like Girardi's character.
Mm-hmm. This is the second time we get Picard yelled at because he doesn't have feelings in the episode. Apparently, he doesn't have feelings because she...
I mean, he definitely has feelings, but yes, he does sort of bury them, so...
Yeah, he's very stoic. Mm-hmm. It's like, okay. But that does connect with everything else that we've seen as themes of the season. Mm-hmm. So I guess we'll just go with that. Do you think the Borg Queen can talk to the Borg of the time?
Not without... no, I don't think so. Because remember in First Contact, they were building that special receiver on the deflector dish to reach out and communicate to them. So
that's true.
I don't think she can. Because the Borg at the time are all in the Delta Quadrant.
Yeah, there's not even the ones... We're still a few years out from the ones in the...
there aren't even those ones buried in the ice from that show up in Enterprise. Yeah, so
maybe another 40 years or something like that. Yeah,
right.
So yeah, I'm not sure on that because she asked to have the voices to drown out the silence, or however she puts it. So I don't think she is. I think that's why she wants the ship, though. Yeah, because she says the first thing she's going to take is the ship. So
well, it's the first thing she says she wants is legs, which I thought was funny.
Good point. Yes, that
I was like, "What do you want?" She says, "Legs for one." I laughed.
Yeah, I did too. It's just that's perfect. You don't actually, you don't have to go anywhere. You got the ship. You're Borg, but whatever. Yeah. So I think that's a plot point they're going to have to address because otherwise, there is the issue of how did the Borg not know about Earth earlier? So that's something they're going to have to address. And maybe it's as easy as saying there can't be two queens at a time, so she's not going to try until she's powerful enough. But that might be a whole other storyline that isn't even going on. So anything else you want to talk about with Girardi? I feel like I've missed something here.
I mean, I enjoyed her self-deprecation throughout the...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like, she's found humor, knock, nothing there, just deflection.
Yes. And she occasionally wants to just not do what Picard says because he's a father figure.
Yeah, funny. That was good.
Yeah. Again, that goes with the whole she's uncomfortable with everything. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, well, the last thing I had in here with Raffi and Seven, I skipped over it earlier. Seven is relaxed in a way that doesn't make sense. Because the Raffi comments on it, right? Yeah,
I think it's because she doesn't have any of the Borg implants.
And that's what I was wondering, because like before they left, she's looking at her face, and she seems more relaxed. And I was wondering about, is it the Borg implant thing? Is it some echo of the person that she was in this timeline? That
I don't think that,
just in terms of like thinking on her feet or something like that, in a way that, because Seven was not exactly one to participate in witty banter, so but yeah, I think you're right. It's probably the lack of Borg implants. It'd be interesting to see how that falls out.
I doubt it's an echo of the alternate timeline 7 because like none of the other people have that. And that would apply to all of them, not just her.
That's true.
But I think it's just because the Seven from that timeline was not Borg.
Right.
The Borg implants are not affecting Seven the way they did in our timeline.
Mm-hmm. That could bring up an interesting point of conflict as we go forward, because she may not want to
go back. Yeah. That is a very good point.
All right, file that away for later. And then, it ends on Rios being dragged out of the clinic. So it was a very fast episode.
Yes.
Like, it was over before I realized. It's like, wait, that's where we're ending. So it was pretty good. Did you have any other canon? Did you have anything else you wanted to talk about for the episode itself?
As far as canon, the Sanctuary District is the big one.
Yeah.
I think we should mention that they crashed the ship into the Chateau Picard vineyard. Not sure how that's going to work out, but...
Yeah. Okay, so I wasn't sure of that, because he said they're going home, and then it looked like the vineyard, or something akin to the vineyard, and then I'm like, okay, but they were over LA, and I realized that, we're talking about being in orbit. But that's still
it would have to be far away from LA, otherwise the communicators would work.
Right. No, I get that much, but it was just like that didn't feel like enough time. Someone who knows about those things will probably correct me, so that's fine.
Yeah, I honestly don't know.
I don't know how long it takes in orbit to go from LA to France.
Well, it depends on how fast your orbit is, I suppose.
Well, yes. I did think that was cool, though.
Yeah.
I didn't catch it the first time that I watched it. I caught it the second time I watched it. I was like, oh, wait. That makes sense. That does make me wonder, though, because we were talking about whether Maurice had purchased the vineyard or if they were just going to live there.
Yeah.
If he had inherited it. And I think that almost infers...
If Picard's willing to
go
there, I assume it's got to be a Picard thing.
Yeah. He has to know that there's family there.
Which I'm not sure how well that'll work if he meets them.
But, right. I mean, it's...
But I doubt he would have gone there if it was just owned by some random people.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we shall see.
Indeed.
Well, final thoughts. This was a very full episode.
Yes. We're very fast-paced. We're getting a lot. I'm still definitely all in, and I want to find out more.
Yeah. Can't say anything more than that. I hope we don't spend the rest of the season in 2024.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. Yeah. We might not. I hope we do get a few episodes in the quote unquote present at the end, though.
Yeah, there's been discussion about if what they've been filming for season 3 is continuation from this, or if it's a new story, and it sounds like this is actually. It's going to be picking up from this season directly. So I'm wondering if, when we're going to get back to, 2401 and all of that. But I haven't seen anything definitive on either side.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. The rumors that I have seen, that I have heard recently, vis-a-vis season 3 is that... Because one thing Terry Matalas said, and now I don't recall where, but is that they managed to get someone back into a Starfleet uniform. So...
Okay.
So we'll find out. But that means they had to convince someone to do it, which means that it's interesting who that might be. That's really all I know about season 3. That's all anyone knows about season 3.
I hadn't heard that.
Yeah. I'm not sure where it originally came from. I heard it from someone else. Okay.
Interesting. All right. Well,
it's going to be Avery Brooks. They're going to bring Avery Brooks back in a Starfleet uniform.
Everybody's saying that. I don't know.
No, it's not going to be Avery Brooks.
It can't. Yeah, he's been. If he wouldn't show up for the documentary, which I think was really not. That was kind of shitty, but that's a whole other thing. Right. So, This has been our second episode for the week. Thank you, listeners, for listening to us wander about our topics today. Apparently, Brandon reels us in more than we realized.
Yeah, apparently.
But yeah, so this is our second episode for the week, so you'll know where to find us. I'm not going to go through all that. Next week, we'll be talking about the next episode of Picard. We don't know what the title is yet. We will only be talking about one episode of anything until we get to the last week of Picard, and then we'll be overlapped again. So
yes,
we'll be able to put all of our mental energy into Picard and discussing every last tidbit.
Indeed.
Plus, I'm sure we missed something because it's now like 9:30 on a Sunday night. And
yeah.
I'm tired.
I am also tired, so yes.
Yeah.
Next week, we'll be fresh-faced and bushy-tailed and talking about one episode, and we'll be very, very on top of it.
Yeah. Anyway. All right. Well, listeners, thank you for listening, and we will be here next week for you to listen to, and until then, peace and long life.
This has been a production of MTMR Media Works.
I guess we should be happy that Rios didn't materialize into the fire.
Oh, jeez. Like that episode of TNG where the people get stuck in the floor. Yeah. We didn't need 2 deaths in this episode, so yes.
I don't know. There could have been something. If they could have beamed him back, that could have been a funny moment. You know. Like if he would have been okay. Like, oh, you beamed my foot into a fire hydrant, and then they beam him back. Yeah, I'm looking for humor where there isn't. Anyway.
Well, now I'm thinking of that episode of Enterprise where the people got like twigs and leaves stuck in their skin because the transporter picked them up.
Yeah. That was not fun. Okay. No. All right.